Hello, welcome to the Become the Niche masterclass for multi-passionates. Let me do a full screen here. You guys, the opportunity with social media right now is insane. And I know that a lot of you saw what I was saying when I said, fuck a niche, okay? You're too many things to box yourself in. And I know that that is the reason why you clicked onto this training. Put a number in the chat, an emoji, a message, something to let me know you're like, yes, I agree with you. I freaking agree with you. Because right now, it's never been easier to be successful online. Seriously. And if you're here, you know that success is the only option. You guys can hear me through the mic, right? I just want to make sure. Success is the only option because if you are somebody who is multi-passionate, you sometimes I'm sure you feel like, okay, but there's so many parts of me. How do I pick what to share, when to share, how to share it? And sometimes you just get so in your head. Am I the only one who's ever felt this way? Because if you are a multi-passionate, okay, I see the head shaking. Thank you. If you are a multi-passionate, you guys, you almost have more of an advantage. The thing is, if you don't know how to grasp the advantage in front of you, it's going to be difficult to, number one, build a personal brand and grow it, and of course, monetize it because we're not just here to have followers, right? We want to have people that we connect with, that connect with us, that we also can use to get paid to exist. And I know so many people feel so weird about that phrase of getting paid to exist because what am I doing? And if I'm doing something that feels so natural, why does it feel weird? And all of these things start coming up. But there's going to be so many things that I say that I want you to take away from this call, and there really are. But I really want you to understand that being a multi-passionate is an advantage. I don't want you to feel like, number one, you have to box yourself in, you have to figure out a niche, because if you're a multi-passionate, you have chapters and seasons in your life. Everybody does, right? But if you are somebody who has so many different interests and things you enjoy, things you're good at, maybe you've gotten different certifications or degrees, you will feel boxed in if you pick one thing and have to stick to it for years because social media is not going anywhere, personal branding isn't going anywhere. And if you're a multi-passionate and you choose one thing, of course, you can do whatever you want. But when you start growing and you start finding a new part of yourself, you have to be able to weave that in. Otherwise, you're going to feel stuck in your personal brand. And you guys, personal branding is just getting started. Like actually, you're going to see me looking over here because I have my phone, and this is one of the best things to do for your personal brand is showing you in action. I have my phone. It's going to get clips of me during this call, instead of just telling people. So if you see me move or get up or look over, I also have notes. If this is your first training with me, which by the way, I am a note taker. I do take notes on my phone. I also take notes on paper. And if you have never done a training with me, I have a background in psychology. Your brain will absorb 90% more. This is actually like studied 90% more if you're engaged, and especially if you're writing. There's something about the connection in our brains when we actually have to hold something. It's about physical touch and then having to write because it connects. I'm giving you guys some neuroscience here. It connects both sides of your brain, and that's what allows you to learn things, okay? I also want you to grab something to drink. I see some of you guys have something to drink. Obviously, you guys know I have the best water in the world. Because the more that you can physically move around, the more you will take out of this. And the more you engage, like in the chat or in the comments for the replay, you will get more out of this. I really want you to prepare right now. Just take 5 seconds. And I want you to prepare as if you paid like thousands of dollars for this. I'm not just saying this for like a funny little, whatever. Your brain will actually perceive it as more valuable if you think you paid for something. That's why people charge tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars for certain things because they want the person that they're helping to actually feel. I actually did pay. It's 2 a.m. in Bangkok. Oh my gosh. I want to go to Bangkok so badly, but you are amazing for paying in your time, right? And we're all paying in time. We could be doing anything right now. But I want to congratulate you guys for being here because you actually are serious about building a personal brand. So if you are serious about building a personal brand as a multi-passionate, let's get right into it. I don't like super long intros, and it's already been a few minutes. Every one of our time is so valuable, and I just want you guys to understand that you can build the personal brand that you see, that you dream about. Okay, so welcome to a training with me. If you've never been on a training with me, how I do training calls, it might be a little bit different from another person that you've done a masterclass with. I love the brain, you guys. I just said my background is in psychology. But the reason why I love the brain so much is because our brains are so amazing and they can also be the biggest thing getting in our way. And for that reason, I love integrating mindset, getting over limiting beliefs, and just really breaking through the barriers that we create in our mind. So anytime you see a little brain and a wand emoji, there's going to be a limiting belief that we're going to talk about and work through because building a personal brand is building you and being comfortable building yourself in front of other people and being seen by other people, really opening yourself up to getting rejected online in front of the entire world's population, essentially. So I will be integrating mindset. And if you have any things that pop up or questions, put them in the chat. I try to do my best to watch the chat as we go through. If I miss something, I'll always come back to it at the end. So if you want to get the most out of this masterclass, if I'm asking questions, type it in the chat. If you have a question, type it in the chat. Because, like I said, the brain loves physical, tactile. I'm holding a pen. I'm the one doing the training and I have a pen in my hand because I might think of something that I want to write down and make sure that I do it. So let's go all in. Decide right now. I'm going all in with my personal brand. I don't care what fears come up. I don't care if I don't feel comfortable speaking in front of the camera or recording myself. You guys, I have been building my personal brand for years and I still get things pop up in my mind that I have to work through. I still get nervous to say certain things, okay? Understand that even if you decide right now to go all in and things pop up later, that does not mean that you can't build the personal brand you want to build, okay? Make sense? So here's our first little mindset. Here's our first little thing, because I know somebody's thinking, okay, but the market is so saturated, like online. There's so many people online right now. There's so many people competing for attention. There's so many people who are trying to sell something. Has anyone ever thought, like, okay, but why me? Like, why would somebody purchase through me? Why would they follow me? Why would they want to spend precious time in their day and give it to me online? Right? Because I know I've thought that before. And I'm someone who's gotten millions of organic views, you guys. I have thousands of followers, and I still sometimes think. And then what brings you back is understanding what social media is. You guys recognize the opportunity that's in front of you. Truly understand what is happening right now. Okay. We're in a time where you can reach billions of people at your fingertips, literally billions of people. I was Googling because I was just curious. I like numbers, right? Majority of the world's population is online. That means over 5 billion, almost 6 billion people are actively engaging on social media. This is why you have to take this seriously. Your personal brand, social media, and the internet can unlock doors you cannot even imagine. Those videos that you see people when they're like, post your content. Have you guys seen those videos where like, post your content and you can be flown out for this trip or whatever it is? They're right. But if you don't take it seriously, the opportunity is not going to take you seriously and give you what you want out of it. This is why Forbes is saying that a personal brand will never be replaced by AI. And I don't know about you guys. I know a lot about AI. I don't know a lot about AI. But what I do know is that I don't want it to replace me. And it cannot replace you when you are so uniquely you that it can't. AI can regurgitate, it cannot create. You can. You can do both. You can regurgitate and you can create, okay? So I don't even want you to think about how many people are out there because there are billions of people that want to see you, and you have to understand that you have value that people want. Okay? Makes sense? Let me double check my notes because you guys, I have so many things that I want to say, and I don't want to leave any of it out. Okay. Yes. Okay, let's keep going. So, What is it that makes a personal brand successful? Type in the chat what you think, and there I'm not looking for anything specific necessarily. What is it that makes a personal brand successful? If when you think about people who have a successful personal brand, what comes to your mind? Just throw out what comes to your mind. I'm not doing like a right or wrong here. Value, authenticity, consistency, yes. Being yourself, not really caring what anyone else has going on, being unique, real, raw moments, being genuine. Okay, so you guys already know what makes a personal brand successful. Every single one of you actually said what I was looking for. It was kind of a trick question because I said I wasn't looking for anything, but I was. But it's because I knew that no matter what your answer was, and this is why it's so cool, why personal branding is so cool, because no matter what your specific word is, it all boils down to one thing, and that is being you, being unique, and being able to showcase it in a way where other people resonate, like exactly Lauren's storytelling, matched values, confidence, vulnerability, connecting with your audience, clarity. When you can, and this is a skill, being able to capture the essence of yourself in your brand and online and through your marketing, you will literally never go broke. You will never go broke if you can understand how to capture yourself and put it online because you understand why you are so unique. Remember, guys, and I'll okay, I'm gonna bring in another mindset thing here because it's just popped up. I have my list of notes, but I also like to riff, okay? We were taught when we grew up, you're so unique, be you. How many times have we heard there's nobody else in the world that can be you. You should be so you, you should be unique, never let go of who you are as your own self. In a way, sometimes it makes us feel limited because we're like, well, yeah, but I'm just me. So like it's kind of normal. You normalize it because you're with yourself every day. You talk to yourself every day. And you sometimes being told you are so unique does not give you any clarity at all. You're like, okay, but how do I showcase this? And this is what I want you to, if you do struggle with being told, be you and you're unique and that's all you need to focus on, I want you to use the word irreplaceable instead of unique. So anytime you think, or if somebody's told you you're unique, be you, I want you to think I'm irreplaceable because you are unique, because your essence. But again, if you don't have the skill of being able to capture your essence and wrap it in a way that people will receive it, that's the one skill you have to master for your personal brand. Because otherwise, it's going to be really tough just posting all this random stuff, throwing spaghetti at a wall, and not being able to figure out why people don't want you even though you know you have so many things to offer. Okay. So moving on, because we've heard this a million times. How exactly are we going to do this? So we have another one here. And I just basically said it. I know I'm unique, but how and why? How do I showcase this? How do I get people to see what makes me me? How do I share those inner parts of me that everyone tells me I need to share online that I'm so good with, but I don't know how? We're going to use, it's a very simple part framework of mine. And I want you to just think really quickly what makes you unique before I share the framework, because the framework is more like a left brain masculine strategy. And I want you to just brainstorm with yourself really quick. It doesn't have to be anything long or crazy, but I want you to think about what makes you unique. Like, actually, what is it if I gave you a wand and I gave you the ability to do what I just said, where you can capture your essence and market yourself online? What is it that you want to capture about yourself? Whether you want to put it in the chat, you don't have to, but I just want you really quickly to think about that because you need to know these things for the framework that we're getting to. Okay? While you think about that, let me double check my notes here because we can't miss anything. Yes. Okay, ready? So this is the framework. It's called the UMV framework. This is, like I said, it's 4 parts. I haven't blurred out. I'll show you each of them. Lauren said, all of our experiences who made us who we are today, yes, are unique. And that is exactly what I'm about to talk about. So UMV stands for the unique marketplace value. This will tell you in the marketplace, if you think about social media or the internet as a marketplace, this will give you what your unique value is in the marketplace. Okay. So, number one, and like I said, on my stories and when I was talking in the reel, I'm going to use my brand as an example throughout this whole thing. So, number one is your skills and your competence, the skills that you've learned and what you can help somebody do. So, if you went to college, if you have a degree, even if you don't have a degree, do you have years of experience training at a job? This is more like the nitty-gritty things you had to have learned in order to do something. So, Kylie, your skills with your cleaning business are cleaning. You have lots of experience with that. If you are a realtor and you want to grow your personal brand, you have tons of skills and competence within real estate. Now, that's not the only thing, okay? That's not the only thing that you have skills in, but it is one of them. This is more of like the traditional school, job, work. Maybe you were a doula or a babysitter. What are those skills that you've learned? And I don't want you to write anything off, okay? Even if you might think that I don't know, some sort of certification you got, you don't use it anymore, it's not relevant. It is. Everything up until this point in your journey is relevant to your personal brand, whether you want to showcase it or not. Okay, and we're going to come back to that because that's another thing that a lot of people get stuck on is, well, I don't know how much of my life to share. There's certain things I don't want to share. You do not have to share everything online. And just because you write down right now what some of those skills are, don't mean you have to share them online. But this is for you to see where your uniqueness is in the marketplace. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is what Lauren was saying in the chat, lived experiences. These are things you've gone through. Amalia, you've had two kids. Your experience with motherhood is invaluable. Okay. What you've personally navigated or transformed, anything that you've gone through, doesn't have to be a certification or a degree, something you've gone through. That's number two. Number three is intellectual frameworks or how you think about problems and solutions. One of my really good friends, she is like the GOAT with hosting events and interior design and making things look so aesthetic. And even though it may not be like an intellectual framework, I guarantee you when she has events or she's helping people with hosting events, she knows how to solve certain problems that come with events. Do you guys get see what I'm saying? So it doesn't always have to be the framework that like I'm teaching you right now. It's how do you think about problems and solutions and what's your methodology? Even if you are, let's say part of your brand is like mindset and you want to teach people how to overcome certain things in their mindset, how you overcome certain limiting beliefs in your mindset, that counts here. Does that make sense? So, how do you solve problems and what is your go-to methods in your life? That's number three. And then number four, this is something that I feel like a lot of people don't think about when it comes to their personal brand, but it's so important, is are you aligned with the demand in the market? What are things that the market actually wants solved? And you need to study market trends and consumer behavior for this one because you have to know what is it that people want. Because if people want this, whatever is here, and you're giving them this and it has nothing to do with this over here, and you're questioning, okay, why am I not gaining the success or the traction or the momentum or the money that I want? You might need to go back and see what the market wants. And most of the time, it's just a little tweak. It's nothing too crazy. So that is all four of those. And I'm going to show you how this applies to me and my brand personally. So, number one, I have a lot of skills and competence with personal branding, with high ticket sales, closing sales, online business, marketing. I don't know how many people know this, but I have my certification for life coaching. I have psychology degrees. So those are my skills and competence. With my lived experience, I grew a wellness brand online. I mentor clients. I have my own healing journey. I have my own weight loss journey growing up as an immigrant child. And do you guys see how even though all of these things add up to me, I don't always talk about every single thing every single day. And this is what I really want you to see the abundance inside of you that you can choose from. Instead of thinking, I have to include everything about myself, think, I can include anything about myself. And that just little switch from everything to anything makes it like, okay, I can breathe. Exactly. All of our experiences are what made us unique. Intellectual frameworks, I have a lot of frameworks. I don't want to get too much into the boring stuff. But then for the market, what is my alignment with what's on demand right now? Wellness is huge right now. Personal development, people want to get better. Growing a personal brand, that's why all of you guys are here. Making money online, online business, these are all things that I am part of in the market that the market actively wants solved. And you would be so surprised that the market pretty much wants everything solved. Because if there's a problem, if someone has a problem, they want a solution. So that is the framework. Let's move on now because you're probably like, okay, that's great. Like, I already know I have all these things, but how do I actually turn this into something cohesive? One of the things that one of my friends was telling me a couple of weeks ago, she was like, I know that I can have a great brand, but I just don't know how to put it all together. Like, I feel like every time I post something, it's just this random one thing over here, and the next post is this random thing over here, and it doesn't feel cohesive. Has anyone ever felt that? I know I have. I'll be the first one to say. I will literally be the first one to say yes. Okay, perfect. So, I want you to think about what your brand thesis is. Now, you guys, anytime you study branding, marketing, online business, social media, you will hear certain words on the screen. It's core message, it's brand thesis. Don't overcomplicate the idea of what something is because of the words. I don't want you to get so hung up on what's my brand thesis? I need a brand thesis. What this is an underlying theme that everything that you share connects with. The core message, the core most important thing that if you could just tell somebody, you would be able to, and it would be showcased through every single one of your pieces of content. For me, to make this more tangible, my core message or brand thesis, whatever you want to call it, is that you can build a life of freedom by becoming the best version of yourself. That is my personal core message slash brand thesis is building a life of freedom by becoming the best version of yourself. That includes your health and wellness. That includes your mindset. That includes the personal brand that you build and the online business that you run. Because for me, living a life of freedom has all, it's a holistic thing. It's everything all together. It's not just being super healthy and fit or having a wonderful family that you really love or having a very meaningful business or purpose. It's everything, right? Because we don't want to settle in any part of our life. That's my core message, my core brand thesis. Now, you may or may not right now get clarity on what this is. That's okay. And a lot of times I hear people saying like, "Well, I don't want to pick one thing because what if I change my mind?" You have to pick something, and if you change your mind, great. You are going to change your mind. I hope you would change your mind. I hope that you would not stay stuck in one place for the rest of your life because like I said at the beginning, your personal brand is meant to evolve and grow with you. When I first started sharing my wellness journey when I was raw vegan, I never thought I'd be teaching personal branding. Like I just was like, this is so cool. I love eating fruit. Like that was literally what it was. And you're not gonna know. You will never be able to foresee where it's going to go unless you pick something. You have to pick something and you can change it at any time. You guys, whenever, even just a few months ago, I wanted to start pivoting my content and doing more branding, doing more business, doing more sales and marketing. And it felt so weird. It felt so weird. I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm a clown right now and I'm doing something that doesn't even fit who I am. But the more that I did it, the more clarity I got. And if I didn't do it and if I just sat there stuck thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking, I would never get to where I am today, where I feel so confident with my brand direction and where it is and where it's going. So, what is the one message for you that can encompass all of your content? So that's your core message and your brand thesis. That's what's going to tie it together and it can change and it will change and you want it to change. Okay. Now, did I just answer this right here? Yes, I did. That was my little limiting belief breakthrough. Okay. It's going to change. That's fine. You can change your bio a million times. You can post something one day and change your brand the next. There's literally no rules. Okay. There's no rules. They don't exist. Rules don't, they're not a thing. They kind of are, but not really. I know that's probably way more confusing. Okay. Makes sense. Questions? One second. Because I was talking this whole time, you guys. I didn't even record myself. That's the funniest part about this whole thing. Okay. Me. Yes. Okay, perfect. Okay, moving on. Double checking here because I have to make sure I get everything. Okay, are you guys ready to get to the meat and potatoes of personal brand? This is this is what I feel like for me whenever I get mixed up with content, this is where I always come back to tweak that makes me feel like I have a good direction, like a solid direction. So that is crafting your content pillars. Who's ever heard of content pillars and you picked them and you're like, I hate it. You're like, this is the worst possible thing I could have ever picked. None of these things go together and it doesn't make sense and people aren't going to make sense with of it. By the way, has anyone ever heard um people say you have to niche down because you'll confuse your audience if you don't? Okay. And that is what kept me stuck for a long time with choosing the content pillars that I actually wanted to pick that kind of didn't seem like they go together. Here's the problem with the whole like, if you don't pick a niche, your audience is going to get confused. Do you ever get confused when you're scrolling and every single reel is a different topic? Do you ever get confused? No, because you're not stupid. Stop assuming that your audience is dumb, that they can't follow along, that there's a person that is doing more than one thing in their life, that they are more than one thing. Because that's not a thing. I feel like that made me stuck for so long, still kind of till this day. Yeah, because it does get a little bit in your head when somebody says that because you're like, oh, well, that's kind of true because if I'm all over the place, then it's not going to make sense. And that's why we have this. That's why we have our core message, our core thesis that we can always come back to, even if we don't explicitly say it in every piece of content. If you carry that intention and the energy behind what you are sharing, it's going to come through. It is going to come through because it's all going together. And we know that not one person was put on this earth just to do one thing or just to be a mom or just to talk about branding or just to talk about real estate like that. You would be more confused if you met somebody in real life who said, all I do is real estate. And they sat there looking like a freaking robot. And you'd be like, so do you have a family or like, do you have hobbies? And they're like, real estate. Because I don't want to confuse you. And you're like, you are confusing me because you're saying you only do one thing. So how does that make any sense, right? Okay. Now, does anybody want to share right now what their content pillars are? If you want to share in the chat, because I'm going to give some examples. No, I'm going to save that for later. I was going to say something, but I'm going to save it for later. So your content pillars, you've probably heard when you're picking content pillars that they either need to be very generic or very specific. I'm here to tell you that you choose what you want that makes you feel like content is easy to create within that realm. Okay, Amalia says motherhood, wellness, beauty, and faith. I definitely second that because I know you. So some people would say, make it more specific. What about motherhood? What about wellness? You can if you want to, if it helps you, and also too, you guys, certain times in your brand you're going to want to be more specific in certain seasons. If you are launching a product or a service, or you just started a new business or a new whatever it is in your life, you might get more specific in one of your pillars for a few weeks, a couple months, right? Maybe Amalia, let's just use you as an example because you put in the chat. Maybe you want to do a wellness challenge for moms. That's going to make your content more specific than what you've written with your pillars now. And you can do that for, I don't know, maybe you do a 21-day challenge and then you more specific with your content. So do you guys see how, yes, you want to pick things that feel good, but you can change it at any time. Okay. So here are some examples of content pillars. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, I'm going to share mine with you. So I have three main pillars. Number one is a freedom lifestyle. Now, if you want to do lifestyle, it will be encompassing a lot of different things. So for me, within my pillar of a freedom lifestyle, I include wellness. Why? Because I believe that if you are not working towards the best version, the healthiest version of yourself, you won't be able to have the true freedom you want. So within Freedom Lifestyle, I share wellness. I share traveling because I want to go all over the world. And to me, if I'm staying in one place, that's not freedom. So do you see how you can have a content pillar that encompasses multiple different things? It doesn't have to just be one thing. So freedom lifestyle is one of my pillars where I share my day-to-day things like that. Number two is mindset, wisdom, and personal development. This is the nitty-gritty of what's going on in your brain, how to think through things, how to overcome certain limiting beliefs. And then my third one is personal branding and making money online, sales and marketing. So does that help? Now that you've seen kind of what mine are, okay, good. Kylie says faith, cleaning with non-toxic supplies, testimony are a few I can think of. Perfect. The arc and its lessons went from prima ballerina. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I did ballet for 10 years when I was a girl, and I did point too. Prima ballerina to depression, stuck in trading, to living in monasteries, healing my mind through my body, somatic work, then reemerge as a profitable trader. That's amazing. And nobody would ever be able to copy and paste that. No AI could ever come up with something like that. Have you guys ever heard the phrase where people say like, "Oh, the story was so crazy, there's no way they could have made it up." That's you with your brand. It's so unique, it's so irreplaceable. Nobody could have ever made it up. So here's just some examples of different types of creators and different types of niches. And by the way, you guys, any one of these creators could take a content pillar from anybody else. A fitness coach and entrepreneur can become a thought leader. A nutritionist and mom can share client experience. A personal styling business, someone who's doing fashion, can also share mindset and faith. I really want you to see here that your personal brand is infinite because you are infinite. You will always be evolving. You will always be growing. There is no limit to what you can share, what you can learn, what you can figure out in your life, and what you can basically communicate about yourself online. There is no limit. I don't want you to, when we're doing this right now, like when you're thinking about, okay, what are my content pillars? I don't want you to sit here and think, okay, but if I pick, let me use this as an example. If I pick my routines in motherhood, I can't talk about building a business because they're so different. Yes, you can. Exactly. The limit does not exist. You can. You can and you should because it makes it more interesting. Here's another little psychology fact for you guys. Most of the time, okay, how many times have you seen somebody in public? They have an amazing outfit on. It's probably something you would never wear. You would never wear what they've picked. They have a huge smile on their face. Maybe they're singing a song or they're humming. They're doing something that you see them as, and you're like, I want to be more like them. Maybe you don't want to wear the outfit, but you want to feel how they feel in their outfit when you put your outfit on. In a way, they're giving you permission to be you, to be unique. And the cool thing about people who do this is they are a pattern interrupt. And if you study what does well on social media with personal branding, what does it boil down to? It boils down to, can you hold somebody's attention? Who do you think's going to be able to hold more attention? The person you see who has the outfit on that you would never wear, but they're like standing 10 toes down in their outfit with their big pink boa, and they're like the most amazing person, and you're like, yes, please keep being you. Who do you think's gonna get more attention? Them or you feeling like I should have put something else on today because this isn't giving off that same energy? Who's gonna stop the scroll online? The person who is so wildly, fiercely themselves that they don't care that it doesn't make sense that that they're a travel creator, but they're also a mom, but they also want to talk about faith. They don't care because they want to share all the parts of them because they know it gives people permission. And they pattern interrupt, they stop people, and they intrigue people and inspire people through who they are. My pillars are categorized under the umbrella of regenerative living, love it, the life, aesthetics, nature, slow living, the world my clients want to step into, the body, wellness, water, body wisdom, mindset, personal health story, and the work. This is perfect. So another thing with pillars, you guys, that's why if you want them to be more general, you can umbrella things into them. I could have just picked, instead of freedom lifestyle, I could have just picked holistic lifestyle. But that doesn't encapsulate all the things that I want to share with my lifestyle. Lauren could have just picked of her first pillar of slow living, but that's not enough to encapsulate the whole life that she's sharing with regenerative living. Do you guys see how it's all whatever you want it to be? Your personal brand is whatever you want it to be. And sometimes that's why we get so confused because we're like, but I want it to be everything. And what does that mean? It's too many things. I can't figure it out. You can and you will. And I just want you for today to pick something and start creating from what you choose. Because if you like it or you don't, listen, think about it this way, okay? I'm literally getting ahead of myself because this is supposed to be for later. You pick your content pillars today and your core message. You make 3 pieces of content from what you choose, and each of those 3 pieces of content will either get you closer to the brand you already chose or further, but because it gets you further from what you chose, you can change it and choose something you like more. But until you pick it and create content for it, you're not going to know what direction you want to go in. I love the no rules because being such a perfectionist has held me back a lot. I know, because same. Because we want every single piece of content to be a body of art, and it is. But you have to get more comfortable with, I'm going to say this, but I don't want it to be confusing. You have to get comfortable with picking something. It's going to feel like you're throwing spaghetti at the wall, but you're not, unless you stop. That's the only time that it will actually be like throwing spaghetti on the wall is if you stop. And if you are, this is just a side tangent about the perfectionist thing, because this has held me back for a long time and sometimes it still does. But if you are wanting every piece of content to be a work of art, you have to ask yourself why. Is it because you are scared that if it's not a work of art, people see it and they judge you? Which people are going to judge you. You can literally be Van Gogh and people will judge you. Doesn't matter if you're the best artist in the world, you're going to get judgment. But what you need to understand is if it is not a piece of art, if it's not that good of content, and by the way, it's okay to post content that's not that good, less people will see it, less people will judge you. Because if it's not good content, the algorithm's not going to put it towards anybody that wants to see it. So it's okay if your content sucks, because most likely no one's going to see it. And that's the best part about sucking at the beginning. You don't have to worry as much about judgment because most likely it's not until your 100th rep that more people will see it. Okay. What do I have next? Let's see. We already went through that. Okay. So how do we turn our content pillars? We have our core message that breaks down into our pillars. Okay. But now how do we even get that into content? How do we even go from wellness, motherhood, faith? Lauren has the body, the work. How do we go from that to content, to actual ideas? Because that I feel like is where most people get stuck with what they're doing. So these are the 3 styles. By the way, guys, what I'm sharing, I'll put the links in the chat at the end. What I'm sharing comes from my starter guide, for my personal branding starter guide, which is the framework that we went through, those 4 things. So if you didn't write it down or you didn't get it all, even though we have the replay, you can just download the PDF and you'll be able to go through it because there's even more stuff in there that we're not covering today. And these content styles are coming from my full blueprint, I call it the personal brand to asset, where you can actually build up your brand as an asset, something that pays you and increases in value over time. But these are the 3 content styles I want you to focus on. Once you have your core message broken down into your content pillars, from those pillars, you're going to figure out what your content styles are. And in just a second, I'm going to grab my phone, plug it in, and show you my reels and different posts that I make and how it goes into my brand. Okay. So number 1 is viral. Now, when I say viral, it doesn't mean that it has to get 1 million views. The reason why I'm saying viral is because that specific style of content is designed to reach as many people as possible. It's designed to get shares. It's designed to stop the scroll and reach new people. So these are not necessarily people in your existing audience. This can be like a hot take that is pretty controversial, and you know it's going to get people who really agree with you. And obviously, if you want people to agree with you, you're going to get people who disagree with you. Just like a magnet. One of the ends has to be a north and one of the ends has to be a south, and not everyone's going to match up with you. So something that's relatable or funny or shocking facts, those are like viral. Okay. Number 2 is connection content. And like I said, I'm going to give you examples for me, but whenever we do the live hot seat, I'll give you more examples for what your content pillars are. Number two is connection content. This is for people who most likely they're already following you because the idea is you want to connect with them deeper. You're going to build that trust, that relatability. And the goal here, it's not to be the smartest person in the room. It's not to show somebody something that they've never seen before. It's to make people feel like, oh my God, she gets me. Like she just posted her, I don't know, I'm just gonna come up with a random example. The fact that her kitchen was dirty and her dishes piled up and she's so overwhelmed over this one thing that just seems so silly because it's just dishes, but because she just had a crazy week, like, oh my God, I thought I was the only one who let dishes pile up. That is connection content. So these are either personal stories, things like in the moment, maybe a day in the life, a reflection, an aha moment where you realize you were wrong about something, behind the scenes. And by the way, too, guys, because this is something that I think a lot of people with branding struggle with, it's okay to share things and not overshare things. If you want to share a story and you're scared that the person in the story is watching your content, you don't have to share specifics. You can say, somebody I know, a friend of mine. You don't have to share every detail of the story. You can share the main parts that are the most relevant to your audience that they'll still connect with without giving away all the details. There is an art to being a personal brand and feeling like you're sharing so much and your audience feels like they know you so well, but you don't necessarily share everything, especially not the things you don't want to share. And you don't have to share everything. I think that there is a, I think there's a place where being authentic, quote unquote, where people say be authentic and share is overdone. You don't need to cry online if you don't want to. You don't need to share something that happened in your relationship. You don't need to share if you don't want to share it, you don't have to. Okay. That's the point I'm getting at. So many people are like, I want to start a personal brand, but I don't want people to know everything about me. They're not going to. You control the perception of you. And in a way, a personal brand is everything you are, but everything that only you want it to be. Because you can cultivate a character. They still need to be you, but they don't need to be every single aspect of what's going on in your life. Now, you do need to share certain things because you can't come across as perfect, otherwise, people won't feel that connection. But you can choose the balance, is what I'm saying. And then number three, authority content, which is going crazy online right now. Everyone's talking about authority content because it positions you as the expert. And if you don't like the word expert, because I know a lot of people are like, well, I don't feel like an expert, it positions you as somebody who has experience, somebody who has a reason why you can believe them. Let's use the business that I'm in for as an example for the high ticket wellness business I'm in. A lot of people struggle to share the business opportunity because they're like, well, I haven't made enough sales and I feel like I can't share that side of me. You know how to get started in the business and you know how to talk with prospects. And even if you've only closed one sale, that is one sale that you closed that the newest person who wants to join you does not know how to do. So you don't have to be the expert, but you need to know enough to be a few steps ahead of somebody else. And that is extremely valuable. And most of the time, guys, you know way more than you think you do. Okay. You know way more than you think you do. Even if you didn't go to school, you don't have a certification, but you, for example, Amalia, she has two kids. She's a mom. She has so much authority with motherhood because she's done it. She didn't have to go to a school and get a degree on motherhood. She just did it. So she's an authority when it comes to being a mom. This is why people will trust you and see you as a person to learn from. Think about what made you want to hop onto this masterclass. There was some degree of authority that you believe that I hold that you can learn from. So all of these styles together, and sometimes they'll mix. Sometimes you can post a piece of content that is a viral and connection content because it was so funny that people started sharing it with their friends, but they also related to you and they connected to you. So, like I said in the beginning, even though I'm sharing frameworks and these things that might seem like they're set in stone, there's nuance to everything. Okay. So, let me show you. Let me grab my phone. Let me show you how this works with my content. And there's actually been, if you've been following me for however long, there's actually some things that you probably haven't seen. Let me share my phone screen. Wait, let me double check that there was anything else that I missed. Actually, okay, there was not. So, let me get on Instagram. Ooh, let me make sure my volume is turned down because sometimes it gets loud. Okay, what are the three types of styles of content? Viral, connection, authority. I'm like pretending like I can hear you, and then I realize I couldn't hear anybody say anything. Okay. Yay, I'm so glad you're enjoying it. Okay, can you guys see my... This happens every time. Can you guys see my phone? Okay, perfect. So remember the pillars of my brand. We have freedom lifestyle, which encompasses a lot of things, travel, wellness, behind the scenes of business. Number two, mindset, wisdom, personal development. Number three, strategy, make money online. Okay, personal brand, whatever. So off of the bat, you'll see that my bio, can you guys see my cursor on the computer? On the phone? Okay, cool. My bio is pretty much encompassing everything in the way that I can best. And you guys, I've changed my bio. I can't even count how many times I've changed it this year alone. So don't be afraid to change it. The only thing is with this by your name, you can only change it 2 times in 2 weeks. So that's the only thing to be mindful of. Okay. So let me show you what you actually can see, and then I'll go to trial reels that you may or may not have been able to see. Immediately, you can see a lot of authority. You can see a lot of the mindset that's coming through. Some aesthetics, not all, not everything is aesthetically. Well, I would say that. Maybe some people would argue. And that's where some things are subjective. Okay, I'm going to go through freedom lifestyle. You can see it here because it's more wellness. This is just a carousel, basically like an update of my life. This is freedom lifestyle, and it encompasses so many different things. So many different things. Next, we have, I'm going to do some viral stuff. So this went viral. I got a lot of leads. This is my wellness business. If you don't know what this is the wellness business that I run. And I purposely made it very curiosity piquing because I wanted it to go viral. I wanted to reach people who I normally are not in my audience. So that's viral. This is authority. What else is it? It's my mindset content pillar, right? This is my, oh, look at the message I just got. Love your content, want to use it as a model. Guys, that was just making me feel so good. Because to be honest, you might look at me and think she knows she's got it going on. You guys, this video you're watching took me like 10 tries to film it. And I should have kept the like bloopers because there was one of them where I got almost perfect down to the 0 mark and I messed up and I was like, "Oh, I was so annoyed." But guess what? It did fairly well, I would say. This is a combination of authority, kind of a little bit relatable, not as much relatable, it's more so you're learning, right? I wouldn't categorize this as viral, but it did pretty good. I would say it did pretty good. But it's encompassing the mindset aspect of my brand. So do you see how you can have it all go together? What else? This combination of two of my content pillars, combination of business and mindset. So, like I said, even though you might pick some things that are set in stone, they are going to converge and they should. And it's not always going to be a check, black, white thing. Okay. And I think that holds a lot of people back in their content. But I promise you, if you just literally start posting, it will make a lot more sense. Okay. Let me go to my trial reels here. So, trial reels are really cool because you can post the same thing with a different text overlay. And that's what I've done to attract more people to my brand. So, right off the bat, you can see a lot of talking videos. This in particular is the trial reel that I was saying that I used to reach more people to come to this masterclass. So, oops, I don't want the sound. Um, this did, I would say, semi-viral, nothing like crazy, crazy, but enough to get me, you can see right here, enough to get me almost 40 people following. And those are people, because this is an authority post, kind of can be combined with a viral post, but this is reaching the mindset and the business or branding content pillars. Does this make sense? Now, another one, this is another water post. This did crazy numbers. And by the way, you don't have to have something reach 1 million to do crazy numbers, especially depending on where people are going after they watch your video, because I want you to think about the best personal brand is not just a brand that gets good engagement. It's the type of person that you think about when you're not even on your phone anymore. You don't want people to just stop thinking about you when they get offline. The best personal brand or brand in general can be remembered through their brand and take up precious real estate in somebody's mind. Okay? Now, these other videos that you see, these are combinations. This is mindset, but also authority, because the way that I'm speaking, you see, I kind of have crazy eyes. The way that I'm speaking is very authoritative. This one down here, this is a connection reel, because this is just something about me, something about my life, my relationship that I'm sharing online. This one is multiple different things because I'm saying we just got the world's first billionaire dream bigger. It's a combination of mindset and money. Do you see how your content pillars, even though in your brain they're different, even though making money online and personal development and mindset are two different things, they bleed together. And this is why you do not have to niche down. This is exactly why. Okay, what else? Is this all making sense? Do you want to keep going through my content or do we want to move on to what's next? Because I just wanted to make sense for you guys. Type in the chat a one more. Okay, cool. Kylie's on it. She's like, no, I want to keep going. Okay, let's see. So, oh, this was another thing. So here we are again. This is another viral for my product for wellness. These four right here, these are specifically a combination of everything in my brand. This is a combination of everything in my brand. So let me click on the one that did the best. This right here. This is me in a very nice place that I'm in. I have a video, and I am specifically trying to reach certain types of women. So, POV, you're a highly influential woman who prioritizes wellness and you want to make money online without compromising who you are. Do you see how this is literally everything in my brand? This is not settling like I have in my bio. This is wellness. This is making money online. This is having standards as a woman. This is being the type of woman that people look up to. So even though we have content styles, even though we have content pillars, don't let it hold you back. Just pick it and show up online. Pick it and show up, pick it and show up, pick it and show up over and over and over again. Because I can promise you in 3 weeks, I'm like, I want to change my bio. I know, I already know. But if I hadn't have picked something 2 months ago, I wouldn't be where I am now, where I feel so locked in. Okay. And you won't always feel locked in, and that's fine. So that's one example. This one did basically the same amount of views and everything. Me waiting for all the high value women who want to make money online without compromising who they are. I'm very using very similar wording. But ultimately, this one got less engagement than the other one. This could technically be seen as connection in a way because I want to meet other women. It can come off as a viral and an authority. So is this helping you to understand, okay, with my content pillar, I can do this type of video. With my content pillar, I can do this type of video. Does anybody want specific ideas based on their content pillar? Because we're about to get to the hot seat coaching. Or do you want to keep looking at some of these? It's pretty much the same. Okay, I think we're good to move on because I'm seeing you guys like, let's get to the next thing. So let me go back to, no, not this. Yes. Can you guys see this? You can see it? Okay, perfect. So, what is coming up for you right now? Throughout this whole, it's already been basically an hour. What is coming up? Anything. It can be anything. Ideal client persona. That's what you're saying. Yes, ICP. Ideal client persona. Is that what you're talking about? Just so I can be 100% sure. What else is coming up for you guys? Do you hold one in mind or do you focus on pillars? Okay, so if you are, and I'm going to give you an answer, but I want you to know that there are multiple answers. Okay, there's multiple, and this is what I wanted to say at the beginning. Um, there are infinite strategies and they all work. All strategies work. You have to pick what works for you. So, I personally, like with those reels that you just saw on trial reels of you're a woman who, that I'm dialed in with my ideal person. Another reel where I'm sharing my relationship behind the scenes, that's not necessarily where I'm thinking of a woman who is a highly influential, she loves wellness, she wants to make money without compromising who she is. I'm not thinking about her when I'm making that reel about me and my relationship. Does that make sense? So, if your goal is to reach your clients as fast as possible, they should always be top of mind. Now, in a way, even though my clients that I want to attract are not top of mind for a reel that I'm making about my relationship behind the scenes, I also know at the same time that a woman that is high value, into wellness, and she wants to make a lot of money online without compromising herself, she will also resonate with my relationship because she's a high value woman. Does that make sense? So let's just say that you just started your personal brand and Amelia, I don't know where you are in your journey, but let's just use this as an example that you're just starting your personal brand or maybe you're pivoting because you didn't like where you were before. You don't have to immediately start with an ideal client persona if you don't want to start immediately selling something. Now, on the other hand, if you don't want to sell something, but you're like, I still want to find my people, then yes, you want to have what your person is in your mind when you're making your content. But I do think sometimes I don't want to be confusing. I do think sometimes getting really crystal clear with your ideal client persona, that is necessary for sales. It's not always necessary when you first start building your personal brand, or if you're in a season of building your personal brand where you just want to attract people to watch you that connect with you. But at the end of the day, we want our personal brand to be profitable. We want our personal brand to make us sales and to make us money. And for that reason, I would say do hold in mind your ideal client persona. Do hold it in mind. If you want to make money from your personal brand. If you don't, then you don't have to. But the reason why the ideal client persona is so important in sales is because it makes it easier for you to market to the person you want. If you don't have a clear idea of the person you want to help, it's going to be really hard to figure out how to talk to them in your content and with your marketing because content is marketing. At the end of the day, content is marketing and you're selling yourself, even if you're not selling anything else. Okay. If an ideal client persona is too much for you, or you're like, I don't really know, stick to your pillars. And when you have a product or service that you are ready to launch, then pick your ideal client persona. But most of the time, you guys, the brand that we decide that we want to have, we actually do have an ideal persona in mind. We just don't realize it. Even if you didn't sit there and write out a whole paragraph of who your ideal person is, there is an essence of a person that you are attracting through your content because of who you are. Does that make sense? Does that help answer the question? Because I feel like I went off on a tangent and I really want to make sure that I actually helped. Pivoting 50K followers, dormant accounts. That's great. That's amazing. I know so many people who are like, I wish I had a 50K follower account that I could pivot. And some people are gonna not want to stay with you, and that's fine. But a lot of people are going to be so excited to keep going to the next thing because just like we are multi-passionate, people in our audience are too. We can't assume, like I said, we can't assume that our audience is dumb because they're not. They have multiple interests just like we do. And that's the reason why they find us. Okay, let me make sure I have everything in the chat. And I think too, Amelia, for if you're pivoting your account, you need to decide where you want your account to go and what your goal is with your account. If it is sales, then you do need to double down on an ideal client persona. If it is you feeling like the next place that you're pivoting to in your brand actually feels good for you, you don't necessarily have to focus on an ICP. You can focus more on your pillars. Does that help? Okay, perfect. I'm trying to lock in my content pillars and I'm having a hard time with the thesis mostly. Okay, we'll come back. How am I underutilizing trial reels? I know. You guys, trial reels are so low pressure because you can throw them out there and people will see them or they won't see them. So just keep in mind. You are sharing great value. Yay. Okay, perfect. So that I think that's pretty much everything that you guys want to talk about for right now. So let's move into actually building your brand, doing our hot seat coaching. Raise your hand if you're like, okay, I want to do this. Actually, before you raise your hand, or you can raise your hand if you want right now, these are the things that I'm going to ask you for this. Are you building from scratch or have you already started? What do you want to share? Even if you're like, I actually don't know my content pillars, like Kylie, you were just saying, I kind of have an idea, but it's the core thesis. It's okay if you don't know. And I kind of want you to not know if you want to do the hot seat, because that's what we're going to figure out. And I'm pretty much just going to put on my branding brain, which never turns off. And I'm gonna ask you questions and we're gonna come up with it together. So, are you building from scratch? What do you want to share? Like, actually, you sharing. What do you want your audience to know about you? But also, what do you want to sell? Because what you share and what you sell, yes, they're the same thing, but they're also a little different. What is your core message and how will you establish authority? These are the things that I'm gonna ask you. So, raise your hand if you're like, I want to do this. And I'm mostly going to be asking you questions. I have Q&A because obviously questions will always come up. Um, but you don't have to ask me questions right now. Okay, Amelia, let's go. Whoever wants to go next, just raise your hand with your the little Zoom hand, and then you'll be in the queue. Okay, I'm so excited. Okay, let me unmute you. I'm gonna leave this up.
Hello.
So you did say hello. You did say that you are pivoting a 50K account. Yes?
Yeah. Yeah, I have 30K on TikTok and I have like 16 on Instagram.
Perfect. Amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah, I guess, but they were my dormant personal accounts before I went into this pilgrimage for like half a decade to learn more about somatic tools. And now that I'm back, it was all performative art and just a personal brand. And now I want to move it more towards this somatic stuff that helped me get funded in trading. So the
Okay.
ICP, I don't know if I have any ICPs in my like old audiences.
Okay, so let me make sure I understood everything correctly. So your
Yeah.
existing accounts are in your audience are people that were following you because you were posting art, prima ballerina content, right? What else were you
Yeah.
posting?
It was more like personal stuff like faith and
Okay.
movement. Yeah.
Faith, so dance, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
What else?
Some travel.
Travel. Okay, so just all around like things you're doing in the moment kind of thing.
Yeah.
And what feedback did you get, like comments from people in your audience? What did you notice they liked about what you posted?
Well, back in the day,
Hmm.
just me
Perfect. That's the best thing for somebody to say, right? I'm following you for you. Okay, perfect. So now you want to pivot to what?
to using body in a not performative way, but as a medium
As a medium
to
for?
raising capacity, changing limiting beliefs, regulation. The stuff
Okay.
that helped me, like I cured chronic illnesses, insomnia, CPTSD. I got funded in trading, which I was like for 5 years I was struggling. I used every tool, didn't work. And then I used my own body because I'm a dancer. So I was like, let me use my own body.
Mhm.
And so I got funded. So to share more of that.
Amazing. That congratulations. Okay, so somatic work, chronic issues, overall, the idea that physically you can use your body to overcome pretty much anything because it ranges
Yeah.
from mind to body, right?
Yeah.
Number
Yeah.
two, trading. When you say trading, what do you mean?
Like futures, actual trading, like in financial markets.
Okay, perfect. So I see no problem with this. Now, here's the thing for anyone who wants to pivot, okay? You can pivot from one thing to anything. It doesn't matter how different the things are if you bridge them together. And
Mm.
the fact that your audience told you we're following you for you means you have the best advantage because you can literally just come on and say, I am so grateful to have all of you here with me. You found me through either my ballerina content or whatever it is, XYZ, name the things. And I'm
Mm.
so excited to share the next step in my journey, which is my path with how I've overcome, however you want to say it, chronic issues, diagnoses. You can say what they are specifically and just let people know, yeah, see, Kylie's like, I want to follow you now. That's amazing. Yeah, exactly. And there's so many people who are interested in all these topics, but all you have to do, Amelia, right now is bridge where what you were sharing to now. And it doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be a lot of posts. It doesn't have to be for a long time, but just something so that you feel like, okay, now I can fully step into this next version of myself. Does that make sense?
Could you give me an example?
Yeah, so you can make a either TikTok or Reel or both, where you're basically reintroducing yourself and you're saying, I learned so
Yeah.
much from being a prima ballerina, and I was able to use that to overcome CPTSD, whatever it is, like all those
Mm.
things. And I want to help more people with what I discovered.
Yeah, I've done that. I've done that one.
There, so then now you're ready to keep going. So let
Okay.
me ask you, okay, besides the somatic work, it sounds like there's also some mindset, faith stuff, some kind of inner work that you share. So that would be
Yeah.
two pillars that I would keep like I said, they might feel like they're separate, but they a lot of times will bleed together. So I would have somatic work be one pillar. I would have
Mm-hmm.
mindset slash faith slash inner work be another pillar. And
Mm.
you do have to, the one thing about anyone who's teaching inner work, you do have to be careful. A lot of people will get stuck in inner work and they'll just stay in more of like a victim mindset. So you do have to, that's why I'm saying put mindset with inner work and self-development because then you'll attract people who understand the importance of inner work, but they don't want to stay stuck there. They want to overcome exactly what you've done, they want to do. Okay.
Mm.
So I would say keep those two separate pillars. And then you have trading. So besides
And
those,
there's
mhm,
also some dancing. Like I was thinking to sprinkle in the dancing thing,
yeah.
but not in a way that's just performative, more like I changed the way I dance. I now dance to targeted music. For example, the affirmations music, which is like fusing stuff. So it's kind of reprogramming me while I'm enjoying the moment. So I
Yeah.
was thinking to also use that. So that would be four pillars, I believe.
Yeah, well, if so, you can do it, and again, you can do it however you want. You could have it be a fourth pillar, or you could have it be under somatics, because if it's not
Mm.
performative, in a way, it is bringing healing, it's bringing expression, which is the
Yeah,
opposite of
exactly.
performative, right? So you can make it a separate one if you want, or you can keep it under your somatics. But it would
Mhm.
just depend on what you want for your brand. And then with the trading, how do you envision sharing that with your audience? Outside of content pillars and whatever.
So naturally, I do find so the mechanical stuff, like showing my charts. I do want to share with them some stuff,
Yeah.
but like for the content that's like public on Reels, I do find it a bit dry. But what happens naturally to me, because trading is high performing, It's like being an athlete. It's like building a business. What I do find that happens naturally for me, what I filmed already, just haven't posted yet, is talk like having the yapping videos about what it's teaching, like what I'm learning about high performing and like what's really working and what's helping. So
Perfect.
it's not really about the charts anymore. It's more like what do I learn from charts and then I can give it to people.
There's a reel
It
right
is,
there.
yeah.
There's a literal reel right there about the
Mm,
difference between, because think about it. If you are a high performer, you need somatic work too.
for sure.
If you are a high
Yeah.
performer, you need to make sure that your mindset is at a 1% mindset. You can't get stuck
Literally.
in limiting beliefs. You can't get stuck in inner work. You have to be able to recognize what's going on, move through it, and then continue your performance of whatever the high performing environment that you're in is.
What is your take on saturation? Do you think that fields can be too saturated?
That reels can be saturated.
A field like industries.
I think that every industry is saturated with mediocrity. I think that there's
Mm.
way too many people trying to do something instead of trying to be the best in their industry and the best with what they can provide and the value that they can give. Because you tell me, you have two people that you might hire. One of them, they can tell you everything normally. They can give you all the information. The second person can do that, and they're giving you extra things that other person didn't know simply because they want to provide the best experience and they want to be the best. You're not going to think that it's saturated with the second person because the second person created a category of their own. So I do think that, and a lot of people don't like to hear this. I do think that it's saturated online, even though less than 10% of people are creating and 90% of people are consuming, but a lot of people that create are just throwing something out there to say that they posted because if they tell themselves, well, I posted today, I did something today, then they feel good, but it may not necessarily be moving the needle. So if you can create your own category of one, this is what I talk about in the full personal brand to asset blueprint that I have, that I would highly recommend for anybody who wants like the full fundamentals of creating an asset in your personal brand. Because you can't create an asset from a personal brand by being mediocre. You'll never be able to achieve excellence, like true excellence. You're a prima ballerina, you understand this. You can't have a leg like looking like this as a prima ballerina. You can't. You have to be excellent. So there's a lot of saturation, but there's barely any competition for people who want to stand apart from anybody else. And that's why I posted in the carousel that I posted just a few days ago where it's me on my phone, but the next couple of things it says the market is not crowded, it's copy paste.
Yeah, I saw that. I pressed a random thing and that was the thing that came up and I was
There
like,
you go.
exactly. I loved it.
Yeah, so that's my opinion on saturation.
Okay, cool.
Now, to bring all of these things together, because I think that the trading thing is so good, and I think that you would actually be so surprised how many people who are either already trading or they want to get into trading, they have an interest in trading, but they put a lot of pressure on themselves, and that somatic work does help. And having that contrast in your content is a pattern interrupt for people. So, what do you have any ideas? I can help you come up with them if you want, but do you have any ideas around your core message? What will tie everything together?
Is thesis?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I raise questions why, like why all of these areas interest me, the thing that's common that I find is, you know, correlating all of them is essentially liberation. In trading, it's financial. In somatic, it's eradicating the suffering.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that as a value, liberation is the uniting piece.
There you go.
Mastery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can feel liberated through somatic work. You can feel liberated through hitting a trade that gave you a really good return. You can feel liberated from overcoming chronic PTSD. So
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I think it's perfect. And I think you have everything you need. And a lot of times, guys, we already have it, but we don't feel fully 100%. Amelia, I think you have everything you need. You just have to create the content and start doing it. because
Uh-huh.
there's so many people who would want to follow this type of creator.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Also, I'm just curious now because we got to talking, but is there something you want to sell?
That's the yes. The yes.
What is it?
I would like, that's the thing. I was thinking what's the best format, and I tried to intellectualize it, but then I realized that maybe I should just let my audience tell me what they need. Like what format they need. I know that
Okay.
essentially I want to help them learn how to use their body so it eradicates the suffering and helps with their performance, whatever they're working at. But there's so many ways to deliver it. Like the easy thing that I could think of, I could have like one-on-one privates for traders that are stuck. That's like easy. But I would like to have a lower medium ticket for bigger audiences. Um, but yeah, whenever I try to come up with something, I feel like, I don't know. Right now at this stage, I was thinking to pump content and then see what they tell me that they need.
Yeah, I would do a combination. I would do that where you ask your
Hmm.
audience.
Hmm.
You were saying something that's easier, you mean that doesn't require trading your time one on one.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that would be a digital product that you can easily come up with, but you have to, and this is what I talk about in the blueprint as well. If you want to turn your personal brand into an asset, you have to do the thing that feels like you, not what someone is telling you. Because I could sit here, Amelia, and come up with a perfect plan for you. I could come up with a funnel. I could come up with literally every single step of the way because, like I said, every single strategy works, but you have to find
Hmm.
one that works for you. So you could do many different things. You could do a digital product that is mostly like words. You could
Hmm.
do a video. You could do a masterclass. You could do one-on-one sessions first, or excuse me, some sort of group cohort, get more data, and then decide what type of product you want to do. You could find someone else's somatic course, maybe you took or that you really liked, and be an affiliate for that course. And this is where I think a lot of people who are multi-passionate get so tripped up is because there's so many options, you struggle to pick something, but you have to just pick something, do it, and iterate. This is getting more into entrepreneurship, but if you are a creator and if you want to monetize your personal brand, you have to get comfortable with picking something, executing, and reviewing so you can reiterate over and over and over again. So it sounds to me, let me know if I'm correct, but it sounds to me like you are ready to just post content and see what people are giving you feedback on.
Hmm.
Is there something that you're like in the back of your mind, maybe logically it doesn't make sense, maybe the left brain is like, no, but that doesn't make sense. Is there something like an offer that you feel deep down that you want to put out?
I had so many.
Had?
And yeah, yeah. I
So you don't
have
have them anymore?
have no, I have them like as a list, and actually they're in the process of getting birthed. Like I actually paid this. Apparently, it's much harder to find accurate tracks. So I actually found source artists and I paid for them to create specific tracks that place your brain into theta waves and all of that. So yeah, I wanted to make the audio journeys that people plug and play, right? That would allow them to shift stuff. Um, that was the one I would say that I was thinking that could be low to medium ticket. But then, I decided to transition it into high ticket because I thought that people will have so many questions how to do it as effectively as possible.
Okay,
And they,
I'm gonna
yeah.
stop. I'm gonna stop you really quick. Okay, because I just saw it, and this happens for guys, this happens for everyone. This happens for me. This has happened to me in the very recent past. This is what's going to happen when you build your personal brand and you create something to monetize, whether it is your own digital product or like you're saying you hired somebody and that's going into the offering. This is what we do. We get an idea. It's a wonderful idea. It has so much value to help people, and we do it, and then we're like, "Oh my God, but what if this?" And a thought comes up. So we had the value, the idea, the more I would say like spiritual intuition of knowing that this is great. And then our mind comes in and starts adding thoughts, which can be very helpful. Yes, they can be very helpful, but a lot of the time it's the fear that's creating an excuse. So you actually have no idea what somebody could be thinking, and you won't have any idea until you actually sell the offer and they give you feedback. So I would say go for it. Pick low, medium, high ticket. Just pick whatever feels the best for you, that you think matches the value of what the person will get, and then get as much feedback as you can, and then tweak it from there because you will never know what somebody thinks about your offer until they actually go through what your offer is. So I would say you have a great offer, you have a wonderful brand, you obviously have a lot of authority and credibility, and there's hundreds of reasons why somebody would listen to you, and you have to showcase that so that they do want your offer. And once you get people who want your offer, then you can tweak. You can even tweak from prospects, people who want to buy, who haven't yet purchased, because they give you an objection or they give you a question or they give you an idea that you can iterate on. But you'll never be able to foresee what your clients need until they tell you based on your offer. Okay. So I don't want you to get into overthinking mode because
Mm-hmm.
you are amazing. And I don't even know you that well, but I can just tell you are the type of person who really has good standards, high standards for yourself. You want to do a lot and you want to share a lot. And you have to actually share so that you can get to the next part of your journey with your personal brand. That's what I would say.
Perfect.
And I need to
Thank
know
you.
what, put in the chat, please, what your Instagram and TikTok so we can all follow you because I am here for this old prima ballerina, now trading, somatic work. Like I'm here for all of it. So does that help? Any last questions?
This product that I had in mind, the somatic audio journey, again, it's somatic. It helps you shift a specific belief. It's not particular about trading. It does help trading eventually. It helps self-worth, which helps trading. It's all interconnected, but it's not directly at trading. Is that cool? Like if product suite is not only for traders, am I still on brand?
You mean with the product that you just were telling me about?
Yeah.
Okay, take me through your customer journey. So if I just found your page, I'm like, oh my gosh, I know that I need this work. Maybe I'm a trader, maybe I'm not. What do I see when I go to the offer?
Right now, I just relaunched it after a very long break. So right now,
Perfect.
I literally just relaunched, as in with the post of that hi, I was gone for half a decade and now I'm back. So
Hmm.
that's pretty much where it's at right now in the
Okay.
very beginning of relaunch.
And your concern is what?
So I'm thinking in advance, like when we're building multi-passionate brands and
Hmm.
we and then we have the product suite, our offerings. Is it is it coherent if they're also multi-passionate?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
As long as I would say the only time that you really need to worry about your offer suite being a little bit random or incoherent is if your content isn't first marketing those things. So if I were posting only videos about my wellness habits and my relationship, but then the link in
Hmm.
my bio has a bunch of business, make money online, and mindset things, I probably am not going to get very many sales. But if my content is my lifestyle, my relationship, also sharing authority, the post that you guys saw with mindset, that's coherent. That's totally fine. As long as the offer is outlining specifically what the person will get so that they
Hmm.
know what the offer is. But I want you to remember too, like you guys, the way that consciousness is going right now, there are so many people in fields that are more, let's say, dominated, logic dominated, critical analysis, something like trading, where you're looking at data all day. But those people, why did they start trading? Because they don't want to work in the matrix. They are totally there with you. They can see, maybe not every single trader, but the people you want in your audience can hold the duality of both because they understand that I am a soul. I am learning things about the world that I live in that I don't really like, Maybe they come from a high performance, high pressure, high stress background and they know something's off with my body, but I don't know what. They find your work and it all makes sense. Remember, at the
Perfect.
beginning, there's almost 6 billion people online. You can find a few thousand, which is less than 1% of the entire population, who resonate with what you're sharing. And let's say, this is the last thing I want to say about similar to like ideal client, okay? Let's say you lock in your ideal client of who it is. Let's just say you choose somebody who has gone through a spiritual journey. They understand that they're more than what meets the eye. They see that they put so much pressure on themselves that they need this somatic work and they're doing Forex. And it's like the perfect fit, okay? That's your ideal client persona. If somebody that came to you, that would be like exact match, match, match. Somebody else who's not in Forex could still feel like they put a lot of pressure on themselves. They have very high standards. They know that there's something off in their body, but maybe they're a realtor, but they still put a lot of pressure on themselves. They understand, things about making money and the matrix and whatever, but they're not necessarily a trader, but they still fit your ideal client avatar because it's not just they have to be a realtor. Yes, you might choose that they are in a trading background or a more of a logic, critical analysis data field, but ultimately, you are attracting somebody who felt like they put a lot of pressure on themselves, and now they're overcoming something within themselves, and you want to teach them how to do it through somatic practice. So even if we choose an ideal client in our mind, other people who do not match everything word for word will still match because they'll still see themselves, a part of themselves in that. And so that's why, even if not every person in your audience is a trader, I'm not a trader, Kylie's not a trader, and we want to follow you because on some level we resonate with the fact that, yeah, we did put a lot of pressure on ourselves. We do have this high standards and high stakes, and we understand that you can help us figure out how to work through it somatically. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Perfect. Perfect.
perfect.
I'm so excited to see your content and to see your offers.
Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Okay, who else wants to do hot seat? I know we had some people who wanted to do the hot seat who had to go, but you guys, we do have time for I'll do one more person if anyone wants to do it. Let me actually go back and double check if there was anything else on my presentation here. A couple more things. A couple more things. Let me see on Zoom. Any takers? Any Kylie? Yay! Okay. Let me go back to the slide so we can go through just like what's on them so you can just see. Okay. Kylie, you're on my team, so I know more than I do for most people who like Amelia, like I don't know you. So I know you're not building from scratch. I know you've already started. Um, tell me because you did already put in the chat. Let me go find it actually.
The pillars.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm blind, so I have to get
No,
down
no,
here.
no, it's okay. Here, let me make this a little bit bigger. There we go. Okay, faith, cleaning with non-toxic supplies, testimony, or if you can think of. Okay, anything else you want to share, you can just like name whatever.
Okay, and I think, I don't know, you kind of said to get specific, but I think maybe the cleaning thing could be a little bit more broad as well.
Yes.
Okay,
So, what else? You have faith, cleaning. We could do like non-toxic cleaning.
okay,
Is that good, or do you feel
that's
like that's
good.
too specific? Okay, that's good. Testimony, what do you mean by what type of testimony?
Um, well, we kind of talked about this before, like the whole reason that you kind of, well, part of one of the reasons you came up with doing this training was that we were talking about like reaching our ideal client. And as much as I want to reach high level people, I know that my mentor, which is Shelby, found me because I was in a very vulnerable and down situation, a bit about my past just to be a little like vulnerable. I was
Hmm.
going through addictions and all kinds of things. And so I want to also, I don't want to like exclude those people. You know what I mean? Like I
Hmm.
want to help people through my transformation, I guess.
Okay, perfect. So, what I'm hearing you say is where you were before, there are people who are there now, and
Hmm.
you want to show them that there is a light on the other side of the tunnel,
Yes.
essentially. Okay,
Ex
perfect. I think that's perfect because why? Number one, it showcases authority, even if it's on the emotional side, which is what so many people need help with. I mean, despite there being so many areas where somebody can be addicted to something, social media has created another layer of
mm,
addiction, right?
yeah.
So, as long as this is something we were talking about in our team chat, as long as the way that you're talking to people is empowering them to take another step in the right direction instead of keeping them stuck, which I haven't seen you really doing that where it's like talking to people when they stay stuck, then that's fine. Because, like we were saying, for anybody who doesn't know what we're saying, if you talk to people who are in a victim mindset, they will not purchase, they will not buy. And if they do, it's going to be a struggle, to help them through as a client. They have to want to make a change. That's exactly where you were. So you can help as many people in that position as long as they're ready, and sometimes we come and help them see that they are ready, right? So, faith, non toxic cleaning, your testimony. And I think your testimony, like as a pillar, I don't know if I would choose that as a pillar. Obviously, you can. And if you want it to, do it and keep posting content. But um, I think you can take it in a few different ways because your testimony has so many different parts to it, not just overcoming, let's say, addiction or wellness or PCOS you've talked about before. Do you get what I mean? So you could either talk about testimony or you could make it a pillar of like overcoming something
Mhm.
that you feel like is really difficult to overcome because women who have PCOS, where you share your PCOS journey, they'll resonate with overcoming that. People who are struggling with addiction will resonate with overcoming that. So that's why I'm saying with content pillars, you can take it in any which direction. But
Yeah.
anything else, you can have three. Those can be your three if you feel good. Do you feel good with that?
And I guess with overcoming, it's just overcoming in general, or would it be better if it's something specific?
It's your brand. So it would
Okay.
be up to you. If it were me, how would I do it if it were me? I would probably go more in the era of self-development and mindset because for some reason, when you talk about like these self-development principles, it helps anchor people in something that's really tangible versus like you said, overcoming. You're like, it's kind of vague. I don't really know where to take that. I don't really know what to do with that. But when you say something along the lines of whatever the result is. So, like for my brand, it's becoming the best version of yourself. Maybe for you, um, it's like actually being the person you know deep down you can be.
Okay. That's good.
Because a lot of people who struggle with addiction, they know that they could overcome it, but for whatever reason, there's something in the way that's keeping them from that version of themselves that they see that they could be. And another thing too, you guys, this is another place where AI can really help. You don't want AI to come up with the base level. Kylie, you have the base, and you can ask your whoever your AI that you prefer is, this is what I want to share. What are some other ways I can repackage this into a content pillar? And we
Okay.
can also do this too. Since you're on my team, we can do this on a separate call as well. But I think that testimony and maybe even you can call it the light at the end of the tunnel. Because even when I think about your stories where you're dancing for your workouts, that's like showing somebody that there is light at the end of the tunnel where maybe in the past you felt like I don't have a reason to be dancing right now.
Mm.
But today I do because I overcame XYZ.
I like the light at the end of the tunnel. I think I put that in my bio at some point.
There
So
you
I
go.
like
There you
that.
go.
Perfect.
Perfect. Okay, yay. We know what you're selling, which is high ticket wellness products. which obviously goes with everything that you share, the non-toxic, obviously faith,
Mhm.
testimony. Now, you were saying with your core message, you're like, I kind of don't know what that is.
Yeah.
So, if you are for anybody who's struggling with core message, what is it that if somebody watched each piece of your content, you would want the same message to be taken away? What do you want people overall to feel when they click on Kylie's page, when they open the book of the internet and the page is Kylie? What is it that you want people to take away if there was just one more broad thing and they knew, okay, Kylie's giving me this?
Um, I guess maybe wanting them to be like uniquely themselves and also I guess this kind of ties into the light at the end of the tunnel as well, like
Yeah.
finding that light at the end of the tunnel.
And I think also you could make the argument that a lot of people who struggle with addiction or sometimes like people aren't fully addicted to something, but they have a struggle or like a dependency.
Yeah.
You could argue that they don't necessarily know who they are, and reaching the light at the end of the tunnel helps them to discover who they are and to
Mm.
create the version of themselves that they see in their minds, but for whatever reason they feel like is really difficult for them to actually embody in real life. So maybe your core message is that through overcoming whatever it is you want to transform, the light at the end of the tunnel is you, and you
Mm.
figure out those parts of you that maybe you didn't see before, but you have a reason to celebrate.
I love that. Sorry, I'm just writing that
Write
down.
it down, get it. I'm just thinking, what's coming to mind, but with your core message to you guys, it doesn't have to be like 5 words. It can be something longer because at the end of the day, the reason why we have the core message is because it's something that the person ultimately feels through your content. And you can't put a feeling into words. You can try as hard as you want to, but sometimes it's just a feeling. And we all have those creators that we know, whether it's a comfort creator, maybe like a vlogger, or maybe you guys know Carly. Now she changed her thing, but she was Carly Loves Kale. She's always dancing and she's always like happy. And you know that there's a certain feeling you get from her page.
Mm.
So, what is the feeling that you want people to take away and try as hard as you can to put it into words? That's what I would say is the core message. And that's
Okay.
why sometimes it will change. So, does that help?
Yeah, that helps a lot. And I'm going to go back to that later and kind of
Okay.
word it the perfect
Yay!
way.
Perfect. And then how will you establish authority? I'm just gonna say this because you pretty much already know, but your testimony and all of the things in, because you have a crazy, amazing testimony that I don't even think you realize, Kylie, like how truly how much you can inspire people, men and women. But you also have so much experience with cleaning, and I think that that is really underutilized on your page as an authority because if I had a friend, and I do because you're one of them, if I had a friend that I just found on Instagram, like another account, and they told me, how many years have you been cleaning?
10 years.
Okay, I'm gonna embarrass myself right now. Do you know how many nooks and crannies in this house are dusty, spiderweb cobbed, that I ignore, that I pretend like they don't exist because not only do I not know that much about cleaning, obviously that's like I can just take a rag and do it, right? But like I don't care. It's not something that I like want to do anything. And if I found somebody who said, I've been cleaning for 10 years, that stain on your counter that you ignore will come off with XYZ. Do you know how many people are saving that video?
Mm.
And all you have to do to establish authority is remind people of what you have done. So that's why at the beginning of this masterclass, you guys probably noticed I said I have had millions of organic views because I want you to understand that I have experience in what I'm telling you, because then you will actually will listen to me. And half of the battle with a personal brand is giving people a reason why that they should listen to us. So in all of your cleaning videos, there should be some level of here's why you should listen to me. Not explicitly saying, I've been a cleaner for 10 years and that's why you should listen to me. Just saying, I've had 10 years of cleaning experience. I've cleaned hundreds of homes. This one thing that you don't realize is blah, 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 whatever, however you want to take it. So I think that as you continue with these content pillars and the practice of making content, you have so much authority that you don't even realize, Kylie.
Yeah, thank you for that. Because honestly, for me, like until hearing you say that, like cleaning for me has been sort of a source of shame almost, because it's not like your ideal, it's not the thing that everybody aspires to go do. And so just hearing that is really helpful. And then also, sometimes I forget like my transformation and my testimony because it's all happened like pretty subtly throughout these last few years. And like, some of the things I'll share about it and people will repost it. And I'm like, okay, I didn't even realize that that was like, so that obviously hit somebody. So I definitely do need to utilize those two things a lot.
Hmm. Yeah, and with the cleaning thing too, like I feel embarrassed telling you I have cobwebs in my house. Like, and you're the and I'm looking at Kylie, I'm like, "Oh my God, everything. She's probably so clean. Like I can't believe I'm even telling her this right now." So, like everything can be this is the thing. Okay, this is the like maybe this is my core thesis for this master class, you guys. Everything in marketing is making something big out of something small or may seem small to us. So
Mhm.
your 10 years of cleaning experience for a woman who wants to start cleaning homes because she hates that she's a secretary in an office and she would kill to have a conversation with you because you've already done it. There's absolutely no shame in that. She is literally like, I need your brain and I need you to tell me everything what to do because I need success with this. Or even somebody like me who has cobwebs in their corner, literally to the side of me right now. And I'm telling you, and I'm like, I'm so embarrassed because she's been cleaning for 10 years and I have this one stupid cobweb that would take me literally 1 minute. And you see where my brain is going. Now I feel shame, right?
Yeah.
So everything in marketing is how you can encapsulate something to somebody else. And in a way, sometimes it feels like we're making something out of nothing. To you, your testimonial that maybe, it seems like it was one thing happened 1 month and then nothing happened for 3 months and then something happened for the next month. And it's this culmination of many years. Just one thing that you've done with let's take your doctor saying you actually don't have PCOS on your lab results anymore. Do you know how many women would scream, cry, and jump for joy if that was their situation? And sometimes we just normalize these things, and you have to hype yourself up in your brand because every single person, everyone has something that can be of value to another human being. Every single person. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you have no, in your mind, you think you have nothing to share. If you're the guy that's been living under a bridge your entire life, you were born under a bridge, you never went to school, you stayed under that bridge every day of your life, and you look like a caveman, that person still has something to share to somebody else. Because what kept them from, I'm going to get a little morbid, just a warning, what kept that person who was born under a bridge and spent every day of their life under a bridge, what kept them here? Because any one of us in that situation, our thoughts would be going down a dark path. I can tell you that for me. I'm not ashamed to say that because I think so many people struggle with so many things on a daily basis. But even a caveman under a bridge can start a personal brand, be like, hey guys, this is day one of me leaving the bridge. Do you know how many millions of views that would
I'd
get?
follow.
Like, come on. So never think you don't have something to share. And if you forget that you have authority in some place, all you need to do is take a trip down memory lane and ask yourself if there was somebody who was in the place that I got out of, would they value a conversation with me? Yes, every single time they would. It's just a matter of us knowing how to showcase this. And that's why I said earlier, and this isn't just for you, Kyle, it's for myself too, for everybody. You have to learn how to capture your essence and put it online. And that's all it is at the end of the day. And that's all it is, but it's so much, right? It's so much. Okay. Any last
Thank you.
questions? Yes, you're so welcome. Any last questions about anything? I just want to leave you guys with this. Oh, yes, reminder if you want to get the full blueprint, this is like so much of my brain. I put everything into what I've learned for building a personal brand. You have a 30-day, basically get your brand off the ground with even more stuff than we already talked about. Let me grab the link for you, but this is what I want to leave you with, you guys. I love this meme. I love this meme. Every time I'm like, yes, yes, because why? You just spent this whole time in this masterclass thinking, how can I get better online? How can I share myself with other people? How can I make sure that it feels like me? How can I make sure that people feel me in my brand? Like the fact that you care about all of this, you guys. Why would you not be successful? Why the the universe and God, because it's God, is so giving. God will give to anybody who works for what they want and believes that he can give it to them. Why would you not be successful? You have every reason to be successful. You have literally the only time you would not be successful is if you decide to quit. Literally. And I know everybody says that because it's true. The cliches are all true. That's why they're cliches. That's why everybody says them. So I want you to take everything that we've gone through in this master class and I want you to just pick something and start. Because the reason why most people, this is in the starter guide blueprint. Let me grab those links for you. The reason why most people are underestimating and not getting paid how much they should be is because they think that they need to like figure something else out. There's nothing you need to figure out. There's nothing that you don't have to go to school. You don't have to get a certification. What you need to do is press the record button on your phone and post and keep doing it over and over again and watch videos on how to get better. Watch marketing videos, watch sales, you're already here, right? You're already watching things, but you need to iterate. So, welcome to your most successful era. Welcome to the first day of the best life you can create for yourself. And I can't wait to see the amazing personal brand that everybody builds.